Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
You're locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Welcome back to Duke Loves Rasslin, the show about pro wrestling and everything else. Down here in sunny Boston, Massachusetts, over here I should say, the weather doesn't know what it wants to do. I mean, 1 minute it's 75 degrees. The next minute we're getting crazy thunderstorms. Then it's 52 degrees. And then there's, tornadoes all over other parts of the Northeast. So it just, Whoever says this global warming stuff isn't real, they really need to get their head checked. I mean, I'm telling you, man, just goodness gracious. Listen, this week on this episode, I have an exclusive interview with somebody who doesn't do many interviews. I'm talking about the one, the only April Hunter. She's an entrepreneur, former pro wrestler. She's a cosplayer. She's a writer. She's a former Playboy model. She still has her entertainment sites up. She has a soap company and a candle company. I mean, just you name it, she does it all, man. So she's going to open up and really share some personal information about herself and talk about who she really is and what goes on in her life in a way that you have never heard before. So this is really something special here, and I can't wait for you to hear it. But before we get to any of that stuff, let me just go over a couple of top stories. Congratulations to the guy formerly known as Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Johnny Moxley. He just captured the New Japan Pro Wrestling United States Championship. At the Best of the Super Juniors tournament for New Japan, he defeated Juice Robinson for that title. So, there's two schools of thought here. On one hand, it's a wise move to take a known entity, Dean Ambrose, Johnny Moxley, whatever you want to call him, immediately put one of your championships on him, and it'll just cause a complete roar throughout the wrestling world, which it has. I mean, they've definitely generated a lot more media attention with this move than they probably had in the past couple of months. So kudos for that. On the other hand, you have a guy like Juice Robinson who has gone through your version of a developmental system, the New Japan Dojo, who you invested a lot of time and resources into developing, and the New Japan audience takes him seriously. And then you just put him out there to get, beat up and lose to some guy who just showed up for the first day. And I know Johnny Moxley's a name. He's not just some guy, but still, I mean, come on, man. Is that what we do? Sacrifice our talents to put over the established name? I hope there's some get back, because this is just, unfortunate, in my opinion. So, we'll have to wait and see. And yes, Moxley is signed to All Elite Wrestling, AEW. So what does that mean for them now that he's holding somebody else's championship? I mean, the Young Bucks are doing it. They hold the AAA Tag Team Championships, but we know as we get closer to October, when their Tuesday Dynamite show is going to debut, that's going to have to go away. I can't imagine they're going to have their top talents holding the championships of other promotions, because how are they even going to meet those obligations elsewhere? So we'll have to wait and see how that develops, but interesting stuff. So once again, though, congratulations. See, I can be positive about something that's related to AEW via New Japan in this case. I can do that. Some of you out there keep giving me a hard time saying that I keep coming down hard on AEW. No, I treat them equally, man. Ask WWE. They get it the worst for me. But speaking of AEW, I want you to head over to the pop culture website Black Rabbit. Now that's BLAQUERABBIT. Black Rabbit. I have an article written where I asked the question, about AEW's ownership and if they're being responsible. Are they being responsible as it relates to concussions and CTE? Are they being responsible as it relates to these unprotected headshots that we saw during Double or Nothing? And it's an interesting question because, the Khan family who own AEW, they own the Fulham FC, Fulham Football Club, which is a soccer team out in the UK. And they also own the NFL Jacksonville Jaguars, the National Football League pro football team there. So concussions and CTE and headshots, it's nothing new, especially for Shad Khan, who is the patriarch of the Khan family there. So I asked some questions, and I invite the Khan family to respond. I think it would be very nice to put out a real statement on your position on CTE and also what are you doing as it relates to concussion protocol and things of that nature? How are you protecting your talents? Not only in soccer and in the NFL, but also in your new wrestling promotion, All Elite Wrestling. Because the first thing that we saw from All Elite Wrestling during that Double or Nothing pay-per-view was a battle royal in which people were getting bashed over the head and they were unprotected. So I want to know. I think everybody wants to know. And shout out to my friend Big Vito Lagrazo. He's a guy that his crusade to bring awareness, CTE awareness to the masses, that really inspired that piece that I wrote. Vito's dedicated because, he has personal experience. He's seen some of his friends pass away and have all these cognitive issues, including himself. So he knows what time it is here. And I think it would be irresponsible of us as fans and observers and people who pontificate on this subject to not ask these questions. So check out the article. Please share it, discuss it, at Duke Loves Rasslin on Facebook, on Twitter. Let me know what you think. WWE. Oh, injury bug again. My goodness. We just found out that Mickie James has a torn ACL. So Nia Jax, both of her knees are jacked up, but she's doing what she can to get back. Big E is out with his injury. Now Mickie James. Ooh. Mickie James is one of the most beautiful people in the universe. I mean, that lady is just completely striking. And it's funny because in WWE, some of these ladies on the roster, they probably could be her daughter, technically. And she's more striking than most of them. So it's Mickey's the bomb, man. She can wrestle her butt off. She's a legend. She's a future Hall of Famer. I hope she gets well. I'm a big fan of Mickie. So get well, Mickie and Nia, Big E, everybody else. The injury bug, man, it doesn't stop, I'll tell you. Boy. Speaking of WWE, they're going to be over in Saudi Arabia. They're already over there, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, for their event that is going to be just as good, if not better, than WrestleMania. I don't know how that's possible when you have no women's matches on the card, at least none that we know of. And look, I'm not happy about that. I'm uncomfortable with the WWE doing business with a nation that does not allow women to wrestle, a nation that discriminates against people because of their religion and their race. I mean, look, you have a guy like Sami Zayn who's Syrian. He's not allowed over there. That's crazy. And WWE is going to continue to do business with them? Whew. But I'd be remiss if I don't bring up the fact that the United States, as a nation, we've been doing business with them since the 30s. So, it's almost 100 years we're knocking on the door here. If we don't hold our nation accountable through our elected officials who work for us, I mean, they're accountable to us. I don't know how we hold the WWE accountable. It just seems contradictory. That doesn't mean we can't express displeasure in the business decisions, but, get your own house in order first before you tell them how to run their house. That's ultimately, that's the way it is. I still don't like it. And I'm going to tell you that I don't like it, but I can't be a hypocrite at the same time here. So, The event's going on Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the WWE Network. So, I made some adjustments to the schedule. I am going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. That's what I'm here to do. And we'll see what happens. I'm excited about the Finn Balor Andrade match. I think that's going to steal the show by far. Andrade is just tremendous. I really have a lot of time for that guy. I just think he is the best thing going, man. He is just a tremendous athlete, performer. He makes everyone in the ring look good, knows what he's doing out there, and I don't see him not becoming champion within the next year of one of the brands. He's going to have to be the world champion or the universal champion. He's just too damn good not to be. So shout out to Andrade. It'll be interesting, his match with Finn Balor. And listen, you've heard what I think. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm a jerk? Maybe something in between. Head over to Facebook. Head over to Twitter. Type in Duke Loves Rasslin. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to waste any more time here. I want to jump right into it here. My exclusive interview with the one, the only, April Hunter.
So first and foremost, let me be the one to say congratulations to the new graduate, April Hunter.
Thank you very much. That's a hard thing to do right there.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was getting in for when I signed up for Full Sail University. I didn't think it was going to be that.
How many years did you spend working on this degree?
3.5. It was supposed to be an accelerated degree in 3, but I get burnout, and I had to take time off. I don't know if you're familiar with Full Sail, but it is a 24/7 school. So we have our assignments given to us Sunday night at midnight, and we turn them in throughout the week, and our last one is due 11:59. Well, 11:59 Sunday night, and then 12 in the morning Monday. So you get no breaks. Stuff is due round the clock.
So when they say accelerated, they truly mean accelerated. Wow, that's
yeah, and everybody gets their holidays, their 4th of July's and their Memorial Days and all that stuff, and we don't. So it really gets to you after a while.
I can imagine. And what did you get your degree in? Let me start there first.
I got my BFA in creative writing for entertainment, specifically entertainment.
Wow. And what's the ultimate goal with that? What do you want to do with that degree?
Well, the plan was to write for television, and now I can write for pretty much any form of entertainment, from video games to films. I mean, you name it. If it's entertainment, we learned it.
Wow.
Commercials, radio, all of it.
Wow, I never even thought about that. Video games, which is, video games is such a strong market out there, and the games, especially the more popular ones, are so detailed and intricate. Storylines are so important in those things. So, yeah, I guess it would make sense they would hire an accomplished writer to handle that stuff. Wow.
they're hiring actually novel writers and television writers to do video games now. And those scripts are so long because you have to anticipate every possible move or feed the players where you want them to go. So it's very much a choose your own adventure all the way through. And I had to write one of those games on a smaller level. And that was one of the most difficult projects I ever did. It's unbelievable how much writing goes into a game. Like, you just don't appreciate it until you have to write it. It's like, oh my God, you have to write for every possible choice and outcome.
And which means you have to actually think this stuff up. So
oh yeah.
The creative ability, you can't have writer's block in a situation like that. Like, that's just not going to work.
Nope.
Wow. Because listen, in April, you've been on the show before, and folks have heard me talk about you throughout the years. I've always been a fan of April Hunter, going all the way back to when we first saw you in WCW. But as I've gotten to know you, and even over the past couple of years while you've been pursuing this degree, I truly scratch my head because you run a successful business. This whole April Hunter brand and what's underneath that umbrella. You've been running that for a long time now, but you also own property. You have animals that you take care of. You have your own personal life that you have to somehow make time for. And by the way, you got your social media and your blog and this and that. It's like, how the heck did you find time to pursue a degree when you have so many other balls that you're juggling in the air?
I didn't really stop to think about it. I just did. I think if you stop and think about it too much, you just sort of can talk yourself out of it really easily. So I knew that I always wanted to write. I've always written ever since I could basically hold a pencil. And I was writing for my grade school newspaper. It was called the Pen and Sword. They said the pen is mightier than the sword, which we're finding on social media is absolutely true. But I've never been able to put food on the table with writing. It's always just been a thing I've done on the side, or I've loved it. Never wanted to be a wrestler, always wanted to be a writer, but I've always found that my my boobs have paid my bills better than my brains. So it was just always kept to the side thing. And then I found out about the entertainment program for writing, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would be perfect, because then I could get into something that actually pays and learn how to write specifically for entertainment. And it's time to sort of get on the other side of the camera because I'm not getting any younger. So I should do something where, it doesn't matter what kind of shape my ass is in. So rather than think about it too much, I just did it. And I don't know if I could do that again. Like, a couple of the classmates of mine are like, oh, I'm thinking of going back for my master's, but I'm not really sure if I could do that again. I'm like, oh, hell no. Are you serious? What do you want to do? Go through all that just to defer your payments for a little bit and become a teacher? No. So, yeah.
That's never been the box that could contain April Hunter, because you've always tried to forge your own way, so to speak, right? You're not a 9-to-5 person.
Nope, not at all. Couldn't do that. I don't want to work on someone else's schedule. It wouldn't work for me. Like, I think that would be a slow form of suicide. I really do. I feel like I'm so miserable. So, yeah. My creative, workability is just weird. Like, I'll do 16-hour days happily, and then some days I'm just useless and I get nothing done. They balance each other out, but I don't want someone telling me I have to stop work at 5, and I don't want someone telling me I have to start work at 9.
That's pretty interesting, and everything that you do is kind of weird, because
yes.
we think about the fact that you were in Playboy before you got into the wrestling business.
Yes.
I don't know too many people who can say that, where it's like you had already reached that milestone, which is a big one. for you younger folks out there, I don't know if you even understand the magnitude of Playboy 20 years ago and beyond. It was just being on the cover of Playboy, being in Playboy, being on the internet. It was it, right?
It was the equivalent of being a massive Instagram influencer, I guess.
Absolutely, 100. That's a great analogy there. It's the equivalent of being an Instagram influencer, 100%. So you were able to do that, and then you flipped it into a wrestling career. And when you first started out, you were coming out, and again, you were the eye candy.
Mm-hmm.
But then you actually toured all around the world
mm-hmm.
and busted your butt and got your butt kicked and gave a lot of butt kicking and legitimately paid your dues throughout the business. Who does it that way?
I've always gone about things a little bit backwards.
Here's the part that kills me, though. You're a beautiful person. You did not have to do that. But instead of relying just on your looks, you legitimately wanted to put the work in.
This is going to sound weird, but I think that comes from my disadvantaged upbringing, which I look at now as a huge advantage, because I had a really strange parenting situation, and we didn't have much money. We got what we needed, not what we wanted. My dad was never around. It was rare. When he was drunk. My mom was autistic. She had Asperger's syndrome. We were frequently ignored and neglected. And my grandmother stepped in to raise us, or raise me, and she had a lot of work ethic. And I think that kind of stuff, when you don't have anything and then you get something and then you have an opportunity to prove yourself, it kind of matters more. Rather than being a victim, I wanted to be a winner. If that makes sense.
Well, just knowing you and seeing what you've been able to accomplish, that's perfect, because you definitely are a winner. People don't understand, again, and it's a generational thing. Growing up without the internet, and then to see it take off and be created and cultivated and available to everyone, everything that we take for granted, such as using PayPal or something
mm-hmm.
to pay for something, or being able to just in a couple of clicks you can see movies and photos of pretty much anyone in the world.
Yeah,
you're legitimately one of the most consistent and therefore, in my opinion, one of the most historic figures on the internet, because you were still making money off of your modeling photos on the internet, which is something that you began 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I do my best to keep up with the times and evolve. And I think a lot of people don't. Like, it's kind of like evolve or die, That's how business is. I remember.
Everybody died. How many people have evolved? So many were.
Not many. No, not many. Gary Vaynerchuk. That's all I have to say. Just Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
Gary V.
Yeah.
But run a modeling career or an athletic career like a business, because that's what you are. Remember, that's what my dad told me. He's like, treat it like it's a pro football career or business career. You can only do it for a couple of years, he told me. Hey, Dad. You can only do it for a couple of years to save your money. Be smart about it. Always treat it like a business. Nothing is personal. If they tell you you're great, you're not. It's not personal. If they tell you you're shit, you're not. It's not personal. Don't ever take it personally. If you do, it's your ego.
Damn.
Yeah. It's pretty much served me well. I don't take compliments personally. I don't take critique personally. There's just some really rough stuff said about me, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Now, if my mother were to say it, or my boyfriend were to say it, or my best friend were to say it, that's a whole different story. But
of course.
Yeah, strangers on the internet, I'm just like, fuck off.
Yeah. You
don't care.
Real quick. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would advise anybody out there not to care.
Yeah, because it's you can go down the rabbit hole and it never ends.
You can. Every once in a while I'll engage somebody in a debate, but usually it's just because they have a serious lack of courtesy, and I'm in a mood to like school somebody. But for the most part, I don't bother. But yeah, I remember when YouTube came out, and or that started, and I was just like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, you can be viewed, you can be like watched 24/7 worldwide. We don't need TV. We don't need to be on TV. I was married to a wrestler at the time, and we were both on the indies. And I'm like, this is what we need to do. We need to make videos of everything we do, behind the scenes, our matches, everything. And we need to put them on YouTube because we don't need to be on a wrestling show anymore. And he's just like, okay, whatever. I'm like, no, really. This is the thing right here.
Reality TV, literally.
Yeah, yep.
And
I was right.
I bet your body would have appreciated that if you would have stopped then and just did that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I've since made my YouTube page like totally private, and now I only offer those videos for my patrons, for the Patreon page. But yeah, it's been interesting watching the internet evolve and seeing what survives and what dies and what's kind of just a quick thing and what ends up just kind of turning into like porn star haven stuff.
Well, it's interesting too because you said something to me a couple of years ago that really stuck with me. We were just having a conversation about your business and of course, I mean, you're selling fantasy shots of yourself, you do custom matches, things of that nature. And we talked about the fact that people are paying the money for the opportunity to fill in the blanks. They're not looking for totally nude and all this other hardcore pornographic stuff. They want to see a little something and then leave the rest of their imagination. And I'm telling you, I thought about that, and I can't tell you how many conversations I had with folks where we dug into that concept, and it's like, yeah, it's true. If you see everything, then there's nothing more to see.
Oh, I use the stripper coming out naked and ripping her clothes off analogy, I think.
Yeah.
Like not actually dancing or teasing, yeah.
You did. And that blew my mind because it's like, well, that makes sense. And that's how someone like April Hunter can still survive in a marketplace where there's so much free content. And every single day there's new competition. There's other people who, someone can look at and what have you, but yet you still have your thing going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad the internet's tightening up on a lot of rules. That's working in my favor. Because, this one isn't allowing scanty pictures, and this one's not allowing anything that could be misconstrued as porn, and this one's not allowing this, that, and the other. And it's tightened up so much that it ends up working. I mean, yeah, you can still get free porn, but women are able to make a living again in avenues, not having to do stupid, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Not women. Sorry, I should say people.
Oh, no, you're
but you can have a Patreon page now. You can do your Snapchat thing, which I don't do that, but some people do. You can have your Instagram thing, and people want to see behind the scenes. They want to see how it's made. They want to see creators. They want to see, things other than just nudity.
I get a lot of messages. I get a lot of messages from indie wrestlers. And, they're mostly younger kids just starting off in the business, maybe a couple years experience, male and female.
Mm-hmm.
And they ask me about custom shots. What do you think about custom shots? Is it something I should do? Should I not do? Do you know anyone who can give some advice about it? What do you say about it? Because you've been involved with customs for a while now, and you've seen how it's evolved. And I got to imagine that you have a tremendous amount of control over your setup, your personal setup. But what kind of advice do you have for somebody who's just starting off, or trying to do it on the side because making towns ain't putting food on the table yet?
You mean like custom videos or custom pictures, all that stuff?
Pictures, videos, the whole 9 yards, and I'm talking specifically about wrestlers. I'm talking about people
Okay.
in the industry who are looking and actually are starting to do some of this stuff on the side.
Okay, there's a few there's a few avenues of thought on that one. First, yeah, wrestling is a desired fetish. It always will be. The sooner people accept that, the quicker they'll make some money. A lot of women just deny that. They're like, no, I'm a real serious wrestler. I don't do, wrestling's not a fetish. Yes, it is. It really is. It's always going to be. I don't care how serious you are. You could be Leilani Kai. Somebody's jerking off to you, okay? So, that said, first off, if you're going to do it, again, treat it like a business. Know your boundaries. Always know your boundaries. Somebody's always going to be pushing your boundaries. You'll be surprised. They will always offer you a certain amount. They will always ask for a certain amount. Make sure you know that this is where I'm going. I'm not going to overstep it. A. Because I have some hard and fast boundaries, and they will never be moved. And once I made those, things got a little more clear and easy for me. 2, never fucking film anything you don't want to come back and haunt you. Once it gets on the internet, it will be everywhere. It can be shared. It can be brought up. If you're ever famous, it will be brought up. So if that, it can be sent to your parents, your sisters, your in-laws. Just know that. Don't think it's not going to happen. Okay, just watch politics. It happens. They will dredge things up from 20 years ago if you get famous. So know that. Look at the bigger picture, because the difference between love and film is film never goes away. So make sure, I always say that applies to customs and pictures and anything you do. Even Snapchat, and people can take screenshots. Just make sure whatever you do, you're comfortable with on a long-term basis, because you're married to it. And married in a real way, not in an American way. Not in a, this might not work out and we'll get divorced way. Third, don't undersell yourself. Get paid. If you're doing custom work demands payment. It's not some indie bullshit for $25 or whatever. Get paid. If you're doing custom stuff, it is custom. They cannot get it anywhere else. I don't care what they say. If they want you doing something for them, get paid. I always, I'm going to be honest here, I always ask for what I'm worth, and then I ask for a little bit more. And they pay it. They pay it. And
I can't blame you for that, because, little Sally in nowhere, Idaho, she's taking pictures of her feet and she's posting it online, and some idiot is paying her top dollar for those shots. So, why wouldn't you get paid if you're going to be doing these custom shoots and things of that nature there? You're absolutely right. Yeah,
get paid. Fourth, leave your ego out of it. Just because somebody wants your stuff or thinks you're hot or whatever, who cares? It's a business. Get paid. Don't send stuff out for free. You're not some idiot like desperate for likes. Just forget that likes even exist. They don't exist. You're trying to get paid. It doesn't matter if somebody likes your stuff or not. Really. Like how many, I got 250 likes. Doesn't matter. Are you getting paid? That's what matters. Likes don't matter. They don't pay the bills. I've had pictures that get 1,000, 2,000 likes in the first 2 hours. You know how much money I get off that? Nothing. But it's a happy memorial picture, and I'm wearing a bathing suit, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. But when it comes to like something with customs or something where I'm trying to get paid, yeah, that's get paid.
It's all business.
Yep.
Wow.
That's about it. That's my advice.
That's great advice.
That's
great advice, because again, I don't think a lot of these, there's really no place to go where somebody can break it down that way.
No, and I'll two more quick ones. Customs people are very, very particular, because they're dealing with fetishes and they like things done a certain way. You're probably going to be hounded to death by somebody who wants things specific. You're probably going to have to rein them in with a certain amount of emails. And the reason you're going to get paid, the second reason you're going to get paid extra is because all the time you're going to spend going back and forth with them. Some of them aren't. Most of them are. That's generally the rule. So you're getting paid for your time also. if you're not comfortable with booking customs yourself, you can always defer it out to a company who does, and you can go there and they can handle it all for you, and you do the shoot and they'll pay you. Because sometimes I just don't feel like dealing with people. I'll send it over to like Women's Mat Wrestling or Slammin' Ladies or somebody else. I'll be like, hey, they're doing a shoot soon. Why don't you, set it up with them? So it really depends on the person or how they are.
That's really just some excellent detailed advice there, and I appreciate you for sharing that. Anyone who listens to you interact, it's probably not what they expect when they look at you. How do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile the fact that you're this uber intelligent, intellectual person with so much creative ability and so much to say, and you understand and what have you, yet everybody's looking at TNA and they're just like, wow, look at this hot chick. I mean,
they think I'm a stupid porn star? Hey, I don't do porn. I'm just saying that's the assumption. They're like, oh, I thought you would be dumb and a porn star or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can work in your advantage because people don't expect much. Other times I actually think I might have more quality fans or more loyal fans because I have interacted with them or met them and we've actually connected on some level, whether it's, been like our love of corgis or we've both gone to the same school or, whatever, anything where we actually talk and it's something other than, hey, you're beautiful, so that kind of thing, which is nice too, but,
Hopefully that's what your main squeeze is for. I think he probably tells you that plenty, right?
I think after a while, no one's main squeeze tells them you're beautiful very often. It's just kind of, it just is, I think my relationships are the same as everybody else's.
Yeah, that's a spoiler alert right there, folks. Okay?
Yeah.
World-class international model and well-known star here. She's telling you, hey, it's just like your situation there. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we go to the beach. Like, his favorite thing is to watch girls wiggle out of their jean shorts when they get on the sand. He'll tell me. He's like, I like this stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever. Give me my book. I think the only advantage to like dating me is that I'm so versed. Like, I've taken so many psychology classes. I'm so versed in that and so familiar with how men think from being in the locker room that I'm just like, okay, whatever. Just tell me what's your thing? Okay, I'll be over here, enjoy your thing, and then we'll go get dinner or whatever.
Nice.
I don't see any, like men look, I don't see any point in getting all bent up over it. Like, that's just a fight. Choose your battles.
Yeah, smart. And it's funny because you brought it back to your experience in various locker rooms, and legitimately, you've been all over the world. One of the things that I love doing is, and I think I do it at least once a month, where I'll pick up a match that you've had with somebody who is on the scene today, and still wrestling. Oh yeah, April legitimately.
I was the first.
Yeah, you not only
I was the first, baby.
Yeah.
Man, I put more people on the map. I like won a commission or something.
Yeah.
Girls come up to me, and guys too. They're like, "You were my first. You were the one that." I'm like, I know.
It's unbelievable.
I know.
It's unbelievable. And you still are able to put out your custom matches and your photos, and you still look great. And it's like you're out there getting your neck broken out there and your knees busted up and what have you. So a lot of green people.
Yeah. It was really rough for a while. When I started, there weren't that many girls working who were available and well trained. There were a handful of us, and when I got on the scene, most of those girls had already locked up the single women's match available on each independent card. You know, like Mercedes Martinez was a constant in that position. And there was really nowhere for me to work, so promoters started putting me against the guys because of my size, which was fantastic for me because they're well trained. I really enjoyed working with them. I had no problem with the whole be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen storylines. I had fun with that. Every once in a while I would work with, I had a male tag team partner for the longest time, and we had the male tag team title belts for ages. I was the only female that had that opportunity in that tri-state Philadelphia, New York area.
Brown, wasn't that a case
with
you two?
Yeah.
I
had male tag team partner, female tag team partners, and did solos. Like I did managing and all that stuff. Like I just wanted to work, so I didn't really, so I started, I eventually started doing the tag team thing with, originally Nikki Rocks. We did Killer Babes, but didn't work out because of our travel schedule. And then Talia Madison, who's Velvet Sky. We did, it was called TNA, it was a take on the Diva Search thing. We were kind of, making fun of it. We were making fun of it, but we were real wrestlers. And, that's why we called ourselves TNA. And then, we basically were the precursors of the Beautiful People. And then she and Angelina kind of took it to the really good high level that it should have been. But yeah, it was like, you didn't have anyone to work with. When the promoters weren't willing to hire good girls to have a good women's tag team match. So we got stuck working dudes' girlfriends that had started training 6 weeks ago. And as a result, we were getting beat up. And Talia, or Velvet, she trained with Jason Knight. I trained with Killer Kowalski. I'd gotten used to training and working with, good people, and now we're like working with girls who couldn't control their bodies. Like the number one thing that's horrible about working with women, in addition to the fact that they don't do anything crisp, like they don't do crisp punches, they don't do crisp bumps, but they also don't know how to control their body when they're selling. So I would get hurt doing the stupidest thing. Like I would do a move to a girl or give her a forearm, and her hands would flail around and punch me in the nose, and I'd have a broken nose.
Ooh, yeah.
Like just her hands flailing around. Like, she had no idea where her body was and what it was doing. That's how out of control women are because they're not used to doing this, and they hadn't had enough training. And we were getting hurt over the dumbest things, and we had to keep going with the match, So this is the dumb stuff that we dealt with.
And you dealt with it all over the world for years. And
No. As soon as I got out of the United States, I didn't deal with it anymore. It was only here. I left the United States to work with good people. Like I never had this problem in Canada or England or Japan or Puerto Rico or Mexico. Like never, because they don't allow the girls in the ring until they've had a certain amount of training.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was getting hurt so much here. I was just like, you know what? Fuck this country. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, they're trying to kill me here. I'd rather go to Japan and have chair shots over my head than, take a slap from this girl.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So how do you feel today? Let's talk about that. I mean, do you know when it's going to rain down there?
I feel horrible, actually. Yeah. Not so much from wrestling, though. I got into a car accident a year and a half ago, and all the stuff I've been through with wrestling was nagging stuff, but this car accident, really messed me up, because I got hit, on the left side, and it's affected my entire right side. And this has been, seriously depressing and alarming for me, because I just finished my degree for writing. I am in debt to the tune of lots of money, and I can't feel my right arm or my right hand, the majority of the time.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's a big problem. So I have never had anything happen to me in wrestling where I can't feel something, where I go numb. I've never been hurt like that. So I've never been hurt to the point where if I rest, it doesn't get better. So this is a whole different thing. And I don't know if wrestling was like a precursor, like, you know, like your perforation, you get a little perforated along the way and all it takes is something minor, like a car accident, like not even that much of a car accident, and you tear. I don't really know, or if this was just people underestimate a solid fender bender, but yeah, got me good. And I've been doing a lot of decompression therapy and everything you can do for my neck and hip, but I think I'm at the end of the rope for my neck and I'm facing surgery, which is really scary.
I can't imagine somebody who puts out as much content as you do on a consistent basis. You've been doing it for a long time. I don't know how you've been doing that for the past year and a half when you can't feel your right arm.
Oh, you don't even know.
Wow.
I work long hours. I have a sitting and a standing desk. I just go back and forth. When I can't feel my hand now, so I switch the phone ear to ear. I get up. There's a lot that always needs to be done around here between the zoo and taking care of all the stuff like fruit trees and everything, the chickens, all that stuff. So as soon as I start having issues, I'll just get up and move around and go do something. But it takes me a really long time to get things done.
Which I get, you know, thank goodness you've built your life in a manner where you're not on anybody else's time. I mean, you're making your own house there. That's
yeah.
Jeez.
I'm very fortunate and very grateful for that.
Wow. That's deep. Do you have anything special or any extra messages you want to send out to everyone? Because I know everybody's going to be listening to this. And you don't do a lot of interviews, which...
No, I stopped doing them.
That's the thing. So I know everyone want to, you know, listen to this and hear what April has to say. You have any special messages out there for them?
Well, to everybody listening, first off, thank you for listening. Secondly, if you've been a long-time fan, I am incredibly grateful. The long-time fans are the best because I've been through so many career transitions and they keep hanging in there. And the new fans are pretty awesome too. Hopefully they'll turn into long-time fans. So just thank you. You know, thank you. Come and hang out with me on my page. April Hunter.
Well, repeat that again.
Patreon.com, April Hunter.
That's right.
I also have a variety of other pages and Etsy store, and I write for Medium.com and blogs, and there's a little bit of everything rolled up into one.
Geez, you know, we didn't even talk about that, and I bought some candles from you, and I got some soap, and let me tell you something, they were fantastic. So
thank you.
Some of my listeners have bought stuff from you as well, gave you reviews and all that. She actually has some fantastic candles for us, soaps and what have you. So please, 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 not only support the Patreon, which, you know, is patreon.com/April Hunter, but also check out her Etsy store. What is it called again?
April's Scentations. You can remember because the initials are ass. But I make organic soy candles and artisan soaps, and my thing is they are very strong scented, uniquely scented, and healthy, just like me.
Damn right. So please, everyone, check it out. I mean, I know it's early, but, you know, birthday, any holidays, listen, Christmas is really not that far away. So if you want to jump on it so you can get your stuff on time, it'll be a great time to check out the Etsy store and April's Sensations and get your candles and soaps in there. Listen, April Hunter, I got to tell you, and I know I tell you this a lot, but legitimately, I appreciate you and all that you have contributed to sports and entertainment. And one of the things and one of the reasons why I've always been so loyal to you is because you've always made time for your fans. You've always taken the time to interact, and not only that, but you actually maintain connection, which is really an odd thing to do, where you set aside your own personal time to reply to people and respond to them and be there and what have you, and it's tremendous. So, always be in your corner, and again, I just really appreciate you.
Thanks. I actually like my fans, most of them. If they don't, they know it. But thank you.
And listen, congratulations.
And here I thought we were going to get into a debate here on like world stuff going on. So hey.
We'll have to save that for next time.
Oh yeah, I'm pissed off at the world right now. I'm glad we didn't go there.
Talk about a real life superwoman. I mean, April Hunter is just awesome. Awesome. And again, it's if you don't know who she is, she doesn't do a lot of interviews, you would never realize that here is this beautiful, physically beautiful person who is also this super nerd. I mean, really, man, she's a nerd. She loves to read and she's always business-minded and very thoughtful about the things that she does. And clearly she knows what she's doing because she's been doing it for a long time. Still successful at it, keeping the lights on. So, shout out to April, and she has chickens, she has animals and stuff. So she's old McDonald. I don't know. Listen, before I go here, there's something going on. A guy by the name of Sonny Kiss, who is an independent pro wrestler. He recently signed to All Elite Wrestling. He was in that gimmick battle royal, and quite frankly, I felt he should have won. Because I'm a fan of Sonny Kiss and what he does. And he's a talented wrestler. He has a colorful gimmick, and his stuff looks great in the ring. So it is what it is. Anyway, Jim Cornette, during his podcast, he made some comments about AEW. He reviewed the whole Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And he talked about all the things he didn't like and that he liked. And he was very specific about gimmicks and outfits and things of that nature. And when he got to Sonny Kiss, he used some words. He said he looked like a transvestite from the old Tropicana in Vegas. Called him what did he call him? A cross-dresser or something crazy. There was a backlash online. Sonny posted about how he didn't like it. Other folks took the ball, ran with it, and said everything was homophobic and all that good stuff. And, Cornette's doubled down. And now you have Joey Ryan, who's kind of taking the mantle. I don't know how it happened, but suddenly it went from being about what Cornette said about Sonny Kiss to being about Cornette and Joey Ryan's who has the bigger shoe size. Just foolish. It's foolish that Joey Ryan is trying to make it about himself if it's supposed to be about Sonny Kiss. And Jim Cornette definitely ran down everybody who was in that ring, so let's not get that mistaken. And he's run down Joey Ryan a lot. Just doesn't like him. Joey, feeling is mutual. But I thought this was about Sonny. Now, I will say, hey, look, I'm ignorant, man. I'm not qualified to tell you what is and isn't appropriate to say to somebody of the LGBTQ community. I have some ideas, but I don't even think I know half the terms or phrases or things that should not be said. Transvestite, I didn't know that was a word that you shouldn't use to describe someone. Sonny Kiss's outfit is colorful. Is he a transvestite, which I believe what the definition is dressed up like a woman? I don't know if I'd go that far. He's dressed flamboyantly, sure. It's very colorful, but so is Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, you know what I mean? And if we're upset with Sonny Kiss's his move where he bounces your head off his butt, well, Rikishi would rub his butt in your face all the time. So, I don't know. I need somebody from the LGBTQ community to come on the show. And, Sonny Kiss, you are more than welcome. I'm a fan of yours. I appreciate what you bring to the table. If you want to come on and talk about this, you're more than welcome. But I need somebody to come on and talk about this and educate me and others listening. Because Cornette said some things and automatically he's homophobic. And again, I didn't see where Sonny Kiss actually said that himself. I don't know if Sonny actually said that or came to that conclusion. But I'm not so ignorant that I believe that I know what is and isn't homophobic and all that other good stuff. I have some ideas. I have an opinion. That doesn't mean I know. So, this is one of those moments where I'm going to have to shut up and get educated. And then we can move forward. And even then, we can understand this situation with a little more intelligence here. Because I'm ignorant, man. I am concerned about the fact that Cornette was automatically labeled homophobic when, he does have a record of being the opposite. So, I have a record of being the opposite, personally. I'm going to speak for myself here. Could I have made the mistake of calling someone something that was inappropriate, that I didn't know it was inappropriate? Sure. Now, I'm not going around calling anybody a transvestite. I just don't know why I would have to use that descriptor. It's pro wrestling. I mean, people are running around in their underwear. So I don't necessarily feel that somebody looks like a transvestite. Sonny Kiss is wearing makeup just like everybody on TV is. Sonny Kiss is wearing a colorful outfit just like most wrestlers wear. I mean, Ric Flair comes out in a feathered robe. What do you... Give me a break. I don't know too many people that do that, but Ric Flair did it. He's flamboyant. Gorgeous George, you had to spray him down perfume and take golden pins out of his hair. It's what I'm used to, man. I don't question it. Sonny had to say that he is part of the LGBTQ community. If he never said that, it's just like, okay, well, he's just a flamboyant wrestler who's damn good at his job. And that's the other thing. I'm calling him and his and all this other stuff. Jesus, I could be saying the wrong thing. I don't think so. I think other people refer to Sonny as he. But who knows? That's what I'm talking about, man. I need to get educated. So I'm reaching out. And I think that's the best way to approach this. And I know a lot of you out there, you're going to put your foot in your mouth. You're going to make moves and give an opinion when you don't even begin to have enough facts. Stop. Find people who actually know what they're talking about and let them guide you. You'll be a hell of a lot better off, trust me. I don't have all the answers to anything. But what I do is I spend a tremendous amount of time doing my research. And I reach out to people and I collaborate with people and I do what I can to gain as much perspective as possible so that when my opinion is officially formed, I can back it up with something. I always assume that's what educated people do. And people who actually care about understanding a topic, that's what they do. So, I don't know. But, Sonny, you're welcome to come on. Jim Cornette, you're welcome to come on too, Jim, but I don't know. You and I would probably butt heads more than anything just because Jim Cornette, he is a little manic in how he communicates, which can be entertaining at times, but sometimes you got to tone that down and talk like a human being. I'm not saying he's an animal. Don't get me wrong there, but I think that Jim Cornette's communication skills leave a lot to be desired at times. I don't like it. That doesn't mean that I've never been entertained by Jim Cornette. And hey, listen, I'll listen to his show. I don't mind that. He just kind of rubs me the wrong way at times. And I think I rubbed him the wrong way. I think he blocked me, actually, Jim Cornette. Something to do with sometime he told a story and about Sputnik Monroe, and there were some inaccuracies in the story. And I did a little research, and I posted about the stories. They lacked certain aspects, and here's the rest of it. And Cornette just blocked me, flat out, just blocked me. See you later. Which good luck. So what? There's probably not much you and I are going to be able to talk about anyway and agree with, other than we don't like the current administration. Big deal. I'll get over it. Everybody doesn't have to be your friend. Everybody doesn't have to be somebody that you need to be chummy with. Okay? Jay-Z is my favorite music artist other than Miles Davis. God rest his soul. I don't care if I ever meet Jay-Z. Just keep giving me great music and keep supplying excellent interviews about why you do the things that you do. I don't need to meet you. I don't need to be friends with you. I don't even follow you online. I don't need that. And I think, in our society, I think we all need to take a step back and realize that. We don't all have to be friends. That's okay. And I'll bring that back to the whole Jim Cornette thing. He and I are probably never going to be friends, and that's okay. Sonny Kiss, if he doesn't want to be my friend, that's okay too. I'm not hurting for those, and I'm sure neither are they. Just keep putting out entertaining content, and I'll keep talking about it. That's good enough for me. I don't know. All right, I got to get out of here. Listen, join us next week. I think I'm going to have my guy, Brad. He was the director and lead producer for the Valhalla Club documentary. A real good dude, man. R. Bradley Morris. I'm going to have him come back on the show and give an update. Because, the success for Royal Goblin Films and Valhalla Club continues to climb out there. And I always like to talk to the talent, of course, which, we've done a lot. Because, I really appreciate those guys. But I also like to talk to the other people, the behind-the-scenes people. Because there's always a different type of perspective, which paints an even more complete picture. And that's always fun to see. So, anyways, be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. Take it away, Tony Schiavone.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.